And we're good to go. See?
Yeah.
All right. So the goal is to find the best shoes for the athletic development class. We need to have a better interface with the turf. And then what I don't want to do is go searching for these straight ahead shoes when we have to worry about change of direction. And if you remember back, well, you weren't around, I don't think, when we did the original shoe test.
No.
And then, so we had a whole bunch of shoes, and we sort of narrowed it down. And we had some really good shoes, and unfortunately, they don't make them anymore.
Okay.
Right? And so the goal then is to find something that will work better, and so we can make a better recommendation, because the kids show up with the wrong kind of shoes on, and then the next thing you know, you're making a judgment call on their abilities, when the reality is they just don't have a good interface with the turf.
Right.
So essentially that's the goal.
Yeah.
So we're going to find some shoes, and then we're going to go head to head. So we get a couple pair of shoes at a time. We'll test them. We run them through all the shoe tests that you're familiar with, and then we will come up with some sort of determination as to what the ideal shoe will be over time. Okay. And then we'll be able to make stronger recommendations across the board.
Yeah.
Because I've been looking for trainers for a long time. Because so I mean, I'm not a big fan of these fabric shoes at all. There's not enough structure. I just see feet sliding in and out of those.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, every time
trying to change
direction,
direction. Yeah,
they roll out to
exactly.
the outside.
And that's what I don't want to see in our kids. For sure.
When kids come in with Adidas, I talk to them about this material and how every time I see them plant a foot or try to do anything dynamic, they're rolling to the outside of their feet, so it looks like a sock. So typically, most of these are out for me anyways, just because I see them come in so often, and they are a sock with a sole on the bottom.
Right. Okay. So we just need to find something else with a little bit more structure to compare
I don't like any of
the
Adidas.
Reebok that we have. This is probably what we don't want to use on the turf, because there is no midsole to it. There's no stiffness at all. So planting and cutting on this would result in probably a rolled ankle at minimum, or sliding through and over. So I can imagine the sole sticking to the ground, right? And then seeing the athlete just continue forward over that. So while it might be marketed as a broad spectrum shoe, I don't think it's going to work for us.
Yep.
Yeah, so again, not much structure to it. Does have a little bit more of a midsole, maybe a little bit more, but then we'd have no rear foot influence there. So we need a little bit of contact there so we can control the agility stuff. So that's going to seems a bit extreme, doesn't it? So do me a favor, just rest it up here on the put it up here on the top of the shelf. Look at that. It's sharp. Whew. Yeah, I can see that happening. I'm going shoe shopping.
In person, it's probably been like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
It's online for everything.
Yeah. But you kind of know what you're getting before you order it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure. And I ask for recommendations and stuff like that. So.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it just lets you see the futility in finding something with some structure to it anymore, because everybody's going to the slipper style shoe.
Yeah.
The
lightweight.
Yeah, and I don't think we need that in this style of training. All right, so there you go. So again, these are the
Air Max Alpha Savage.
Air Max Alpha, maybe the best shoe name that we had, right? Okay, so first impression on this. Compare it to the Reebok when you first come on.
So a lot more arch on it. I feel a lot of arch. I also feel.
Is it too much? Is it pushing you out?
Too much. It's actually, I feel myself pushing in, because there's a lot of heel on the lateral side.
Okay.
So I can feel a lot of the inside arch of my foot and a lot of my big toe on the ground right now, where I feel much less of the lateral aspect.
So far, maybe even a better initial feel. Is that fair?
Yeah. It's clunky looking for sure. Like I can just see a wide profile of my shoes.
Yeah.
And
do you feel like you're sliding in the toe box from side to side at all?
Not really. It gets tighter around my midfoot and then opens back up a little bit, so I feel locked in at the midfoot.
Okay, I kind of like that actually.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a surprise, because Nike shoes have never really impressed me in regards to their their structure and then the versatility, because we again, this is just based on previous testing that we've done, that, you know, where they just kind of failed us.
Right.
You know, so this is actually kind of a pleasant surprise. So this will be a really interesting comparison then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, we'll head back to the gym, and then we will take a look at the shoe. Tying up those. Just give me like your first impression.
Very, very stiff on the bottom. I don't feel a lot of arch. They feel very flat, so I'm used to wearing Brooks. They just feel very, very flat on the bottom.
So you're used to having something that has a little bit more an arch
yeah,
to
and
it?
my toe is, I feel my toes spread apart.
Okay.
Like they're not locked in
Uh-huh.
on the front side.
Okay, what about with like bend the toe box? So raise your heel and just bend the toe box. What do you got
About
there?
as much as I can get. It just, it
Is it
feels,
very, is that stiff?
it's rigid on the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah.
you think it's too rigid?
No. I mean, I kind of like it.
Okay.
But it just feels different.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and get the. Okay, so what we want to do now is let's just debrief and let's go through each shoe and say, okay, so this shoe was good for this shoe was good for this kind of a thing, and so, and maybe even pick a winner. I don't know. You're you're gonna be able to provide me a little bit more of an answer in that regard if we do even have one. So let's go through. We did the Reebok first. Which one is that now?
So this is the Reebok JJ, JJ Watts training shoe. So looks a little bit like a turf shoe on the bottom, but is definitely sold as a training shoe. What I noticed about this one from the feel was like a tube of toothpaste. There was a lot of squeezing in the back, and that felt like it was spilling over and pushing me forward in the shoe.
Okay, but you said that you did feel somewhat secure when you first put them on.
Right. It feels like my heel is locked in from a coming out of the shoe standpoint. So I don't feel like I'm going to come up out of the shoe when I make a move.
Right.
But it was almost uncomfortably tight on the heel, and felt like it was shoving my toes forward into the top of the shoe a little bit.
Okay.
Especially on the.
So too wide in the toe box relative to the heel. So we got a lot of slide forward.
Right.
Okay. What about side to side movement though?
Side to side, it actually felt really good. I felt like I was able to feel an arch that I was able to push off of on the inside of the shoe. The side to side stuff was really good.
So the change of direction.
Yes.
So coming up to the cone, being able to plant and then move off the foot, you felt very.
I felt secured, and like I said, I think the heel has a lot to do with that, keeping that locked in. It was more of the linear forward stuff that was an issue with this.
So like when you were on the platform, and if you were power cleaning, you would feel your foot slide forward.
Every time I was slamming forward in the front of the shoe, my toes would hit the end. And like I said, it was uncomfortable at a certain point with the heel lock on there.
Okay. So if you had to give it a grade, A, B, C, D.
Overall?
Yeah. Give me
I'd probably give it a C+.
a C+.
Yeah.
So
It was an average shoe. If I didn't, there was nothing special about the way that it felt. I felt like my foot was secure, but at some point that discomfort becomes a factor with that. I don't want it to feel. I want it to be secure, but I don't want it to be uncomfortable at the same time. And it was verging on uncomfortable with how tight the heel was and how that shifted my foot forward the entire time.
Okay. So secure heel, loose midfoot,
Loose toe,
toe box,
yeah.
loose toe box.
Yeah. So it's that combination really that just shoved everything forward. So it just wasn't a comfortable
Right.
shoe from a linear standpoint.
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So the second shoe was
Nike Air Max Alpha Savage.
maybe the longest shoe name of all time.
Well, when you've got as many shoes as Nike does, you have to start naming them.
General appearance, like a souped up funny car dragster, maybe.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The color palette, a weird choice. Just from a shape, I don't know how well they can see that.
You can
The
hold it up.
shape
We can bring this up. We can. Yeah.
Is-
And you thought that initially that this would like deter you from ever wearing this shoe.
Yes.
Right, just because of the cutout
Yeah.
here. But then you put the shoe on, and then you smiled a little bit.
I'll tell you
I
what,
did see that.
in store, and what I like about this one compared to this one is that it is very, very supportive through the arch. Like I feel locked in on the arch, and then the toe and the heel were a little bit looser. So I didn't feel like my foot was going to come out of the shoe.
Right.
I felt like it was secure at the point that for me is an important area to have it secure, which
Right.
is the arch.
Right. So where the JJ was loose in the midfoot, loose in the toe box, this was actually very secure. In
And
the
so it
midfoot.
worked both ways. It kept me from going forward because my arch was secured. It also
Right.
kept me from going back in the shoe.
Right.
So I,
how would the heel compare to the JJ then?
slightly looser, but still on there enough that I didn't feel like I was going to come out of the shoe.
Did you feel like you had a hug to the heel at all?
I'll be honest, there was such a hug at the arch that I didn't at the
It was a
midfoot that I
nine.
didn't notice
Okay.
how the heel felt as much on that one.
Okay. All right. So what about the straight ahead stuff?
Okay, straight ahead stuff was good. There is such a wide toe that I felt like my toes were able to spread, and I was also able to push. So the security of the arch matched with the wide toe really felt like I had a wide mid to front foot to push off of, which felt really, really good.
Right.
At the same time, when I wasn't moving, it felt like I was on my toes the entire time.
So you felt like you were
I felt
plantar
like
flex,
I
heel
felt-
higher than
yes,
toes.
yes,
For sure.
the entire time. Like walking, anything, felt like I was on my toe. I was still secure in the shoe, but I didn't really notice heel contact at all. I
Okay.
could have not touched the ground with my heel, and I probably wouldn't have noticed the difference.
Okay. Okay. So literally your ability to propel off of that foot was immediately restricted
Yeah.
just by the heel to toe ratio.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And I think I know what's coming then with the side to side is like side to side right
It was
away.
bad.
Okay.
It was
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
I didn't feel safe putting my foot on the
Yeah,
ground.
it showed up. It actually does show up. So
Yeah.
When we did the slow mo for the change of direction when you were in the 5-10-5, it was very obvious that as you approached, because we did attempt it a couple of different times because you just couldn't hold the position. and
Yeah.
You were either stutter stepping or accelerating or jumping into it to try to compensate.
Yeah.
So you could tell that there was a different feel
Yeah.
to this thing, and so I'm assuming that you would never recommend this shoe for anything
I
side to
can't.
side.
It was bad.
Yeah. So any time that we're plantar flex going into a cut, and so this is what happens.
Right.
So you think about like a worst case scenario, you go for a rebound, you come down, you land on some guy's foot, and it's usually a plantar flexion inversion position. So literally, as you're trying to cut with this shoe, you're being put into plantar flexion and inversion. Literally, as you're trying to move into the cut. So
Yeah.
you feel it, you sense it, you try to protect yourself from it. So from a performance standpoint, you have immediate performance limitations.
Right.
And then the sense that literally you could hurt yourself. And so clearly this is off the table as far as a change of direction shoe, which is what we're looking for
Right.
in the first place.
Right.
Right? Okay, so if JJ is a what's the name of this one again?
Oh gosh, Air Max Alpha Savage.
Air Max Alpha Savage.
Yep.
So if we had to give JJ a C+, what are we going to give the Air Max Alpha Savage?
Man, overall it's got to be like a D minus.
A D minus.
It is. Even appearance alone, It is a rough shoe. Just in
I don't dislike the appearance, but you can definitely tell that it's jacked up. I mean, the heel to toe relationship has always been an issue for me with every Nike shoe that I've ever tested. So if we go way back to when we did the original shoe testing, and that was one of the issues. And I made the joke that they were all Nike Air ankle sprains, because that's what they should call them, because that's what they are. And so again, if this is intended to be a training shoe, that allows you to train agilities, or any element of change in direction, then this is an absolute no from my perspective, based on your input and based on my observations. I don't feel as bad about the JJ for the side to side, but then we run into the linear problem where you're sliding forward. So clearly, I don't think we have a winner here. I think we throw both shoes out and we start from scratch, and then we literally pick two new shoes.
I agree.
Okay, excellent. So that's what we'll do.
Yeah.